All right, we should be live here, ladies and gents. Episode 4 of Do the Move podcast. My name's Chad. We've got Rich, John, Bob, and Joey here today. The rest of the crew is doing their thing. Hopefully, they will trickle in here as we progress. A couple things going over today. Obviously, everyone's still talking about the Vince McMahon drama, in which Vince McMahon announced he retired on Twitter the other day. We've got the Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor review. We had the group watching that yesterday. We've got the Gresham drama unfolding within AEW and Ring of Honor. Looks like he has requested his release from the company/companies before Death Before Dishonor. And then we've got our annual Chef's Kiss and Bone to Pick segments as well. So, gentlemen, who would like to start?
Well, I mean, let's take it to the WWE universe. As you said, Chad, Vince McMahon is retired at the age of 77 years old. So again, for those that have not known, company finances were in play with Vince McMahon. So disclaimer, a lot of NDAs with alleged infidelity within Vince McMahon and using company finances to pay off these individuals. And that doesn't fly when you're a publicly traded company. And so there's been numerous stories about this, and it seems like it's going to be a continuing avalanche. And Vince McMahon decided to retire. So now the new CEOs of the company are Nick Khan and Vince McMahon's daughter, Stephanie McMahon. John Laurinaitis is also out of his role. Vince McMahon has also relinquished duties as head of creative. So, thoughts, gentlemen, about the new direction of WWE?
Well, I think, I don't know. It's tough to say. I think over time we might have expected Vince to step away. It's very abrupt, and there wasn't a whole lot of warning per se. I'm definitely interested in to see who stays and who leaves, how that's going to change the direction of production with Raw and SmackDown now, and potentially NXT, since that was Triple H's baby for a long time. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say than that, as I didn't see it coming yet. We'll see what happens, I guess. I don't know.
To go back to something that you and I briefly mentioned while hanging out yesterday, Rich, I'm really curious as to how they handle this post SummerSlam. If they do that WCW 2000 full reset, get rid of the titles and everything, or if it's a slow eventual change, because the three names people are throwing out there as far as they're out are Johnny Ace, if he's not already. I know he was indefinitely suspended, maybe if he's not released now. Kevin Dunn, who has been there since, I don't even know, the Jimmy Carter administration, basically. And then Bruce Pritchard, who hasn't been around too long in this iteration, but was the interim head of creative now. And to me, Triple H is now talent relations, so Johnny Ace's old role. And while many people would want him to be the head of creative as well, I don't really want that for him, because this guy just basically had a major heart surgery problem. He has basically a pacemaker in his body. And I don't know who takes these roles per se. One thing, and then I'll let Bob go, is from a production standpoint, I would say get rid of Dunn in that standpoint, and then get somebody that's not from the wrestling world to handle the TV stuff, just for a change of pace, see how it works. Bob, go ahead.
Thank you, Joey. I'm actually it's sad to see Vince go, but again, with everything that's going on, it's probably good for him to be gone. And you know what? I'm intrigued to see what's gonna happen next. I don't want a 2000 WCW hard reset. Guys, turn in your titles. We're gonna hold a tournament. I hope that doesn't happen. But I hope the brand split goes away, and I hope to just bring everybody together. all under one umbrella and continued from there after SummerSlam. But again, I'm just interested to see what's going to happen when it comes to behind the scenes. When like Kevin Dunn, Bruce Pritchard, look, honestly, to replace those guys would probably be great also. But who would be the guys to replace those guys? I wouldn't know. If you guys have any names, throw them out there. But I have no clue. JT, I don't know if you have anything on this.
Yeah. So pretty much what all you guys have been saying, like either big, WCW Hearts into 2000s. But I'm thinking really positive about it. Looking back at Vince's like career, what he's done for just pro wrestling and like the world, putting that on the map, what pro wrestling is, and everyone knows pro wrestling is WWE first, and then everything else falls underneath that. But they have good creative minds in the back in WWE. I'm pretty sure it's gonna just do fine without Vince as of right now. But I'm excited to see how booking is and all, how the storylines go. So Rich, why don't you go next?
Yeah. So I think all of us in the chat and everyone that's listening that is an avid fan knows what the WWF or WWE was in the span of the mid 90s to the early 2000s when professional wrestling was at its peak, right? And we have to give Vince his flowers for the inception of a lot of these WWE superstars, going from The Undertaker, going from The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind, Triple H. I mean, we had superstars on superstars on superstars, and then that continued with John Cena, Batista, CM Punk. Like the list goes on and on. So it is definitely, it's bittersweet, right? Because after the Attitude Era, it went to more like family sports entertainment, and it went from TV-14 to like rated PG. And now Vince stepping down, it's like, do we go to TV-14? Will we see Cody finally get the blade? Because, he loves his blades. And do we get profanity? Because on AEW, everyone has to say shit 20,000 times. So it's an interesting time. The actual key winner in this is Jeff Jarrett. He played the long game with this, coming back, and we'll see what happens. And again, what Joey was saying, is it going to be a slow rebuild to something new with booking, or is it just going to be a whole reset after SummerSlam? So it's going to be interesting, and we'll see what direction that we go from there. So, other thoughts on this topic?
I didn't really think of how the brands were split or any soft reboot kind of deals. I think I would be interested in them doing some sort of reboot, specifically with some of the characters that have moved up from NXT. I'd like to see a lot of those people go back to their original characters or gimmicks. I'm not a fan of changing names from NXT to the main roster, just because you learn about a lot of these superstars, these athletes, and then you just kind of take everything they've built away from them and make them start over again. So I'd like to see some of that go back. I do personally like the old NXT better than 2.0 as well. I think the colors and everything, how dark, the overall aspect of the matches were, just in a lighting sense, that kind of stuff I really liked a lot better. I still follow, 2.0, but it's definitely a little more tacky than some of the other stuff we've seen. But I don't know. I hope things get better, but I'm also scared just, with how long Vince has been in that position. I think Triple H and those guys have a good idea of what should be done or what could be done. I would still love to see another Forbidden Door be broken open. I know that's still it's probably closer than it was with Vince being gone. I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon, but it would be cool to maybe see a slimmer of hope in that discussion as well.
Yeah. Joey, to finish us off, and then we will
Yeah.
move on.
Some of the minor changes, I think that we'll subtly see, like it won't just be a memo being sent out as now we can say the word belt. Now it's actually a doctor in a hospital and not a local medical facility. But something too that really, to piggyback off of Chad in terms of the old school NXT, the black and gold, was the usage, in my opinion, of music and specifically live music performances was phenomenal. The Code Orange, Poppy, the violinist for Shinsuke's debut that just made it so much better. Triple H loves his music, as we know, more than just Motorhead. And so if he can get more of that, not only in terms of like wrestler themes, but in terms of like that live connection, that crossover appeal that we saw a little on AEW this week with what, 5, at least 3 rappers on the show. That crossover, I think, is going to be crucial in terms of transitioning beyond, or as we saw last night, AV after Vince in wrestling. That's what I got.
Yeah, speaking of after Vince, Tony Khan with the bold tweet saying being the longest tenured CEO of a wrestling promotion. I mean, it's definitely petty and passive aggressive.
Billy Corgan and Court
That's-
Bauer say hi.
That's what I was going to say is Billy
Right,
Corgan.
right. Exactly. But moving on to Tony Khan's promotion, we had a pay-per-view last night. It was Ring of Honor's first live event under the full ownership of All Elite Wrestling. It was Death Before Dishonor, so this is the 19th Death Before Dishonor professional wrestling pay-per-view, and it is put on by Ring of Honor. So it took place yesterday in Lowell, Massachusetts. Let's go reverse order of the card because of the way that we have how we'll finish it off. So I know we started first with like Claudio Cascanoli and Jonathan Gresham, but we want to reserve that for the end, so that will put us there. So let's start off with the big one. The 2 out of 3 falls match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. It was between FTR and the Briscoe brothers. Thoughts on this match?
Pretty good match. I don't think it was quite as good as the first match they had. I think it was pretty average in a sense. I mean, I don't really know how to describe it. I mean, FTR always puts on a great show anytime they get in the ring. So there's a lot of cool moves and shit like that. But I felt like it took forever to get the first pinfall. We didn't have like a counter or a time, going to see who would get the first pinfall because we were mostly fucking around during the entire pay-per-view. But I felt it was like 20 minutes into the match, they finally got, the first pinfall, and it was real quick. I don't remember the exact sequence, but after that, 5-10 minutes later, you get the second, and then the match ended. I really thought we were going to get a Young Bucks interference. I was really hoping we would, because I think like a 3-way battle between them, FTR and the Briscoes would be a pretty badass match. But overall, it was solid. No major complaints. I think if it went any longer than it did, though, Joey probably would have had a heart attack, and I definitely agree with him, because there's a couple points where it's like, it probably could have ended right there, and it didn't. So, but it was good.
All right, so I'll give my thoughts on this match. So the 2 out of 3 falls, it was a good match, but it wasn't like the first banger between them at the Supercard of Honor. So there was actually a glitch in Fight TV, because we were like, what
Oh,
the
yeah.
hell?
I forgot.
Yeah. So I think that's
At least 2 or 3 times, I think, during that match, we were freaking out.
we were like, fall. Fortunately, we did not miss a fall, but the first fall was with Briscoe's doing the Doomsday Device. I believe it was off of Dax, because Dax was in the ring forever. Like, he was getting chopped up, so like his capillaries on his chest was like, oh my gosh, I felt bad for him. But that was the first fall. The second fall was the big rig, so the finishing move for FTR. That was about like 10 minutes after, and then there was a lot of back and forth. There was a spot that I was like, oh my gosh, I thought they died. when Cash and I think it was Jay, was it Jay Briscoe or
It was Mark, if it's the table
it was
spot.
Mark? Oh, it was Mark. It was Mark Briscoe because Jay took the okay. Yeah, that table spot, the way that Cash hit the table, like I thought, yeah, like the back, it was wild. I was like, hell.
His
But
whole shoulder like landed out. It's like,
Yeah,
damn, did you
yeah.
just like separate a shoulder or something? It was really wild.
he almost shorted it. But that was a wild spot. And then the finishing spot with Dax doing, it looked like the pile driver off of the turnbuckle against Jay, and then just passing out over Jay just for the 1, 2, 3, which was wild. But I mean, great match, but it wasn't like the Super Card of Honor. I'll still give it like 8 out of 10. But it was just time paced enough, but it was like losing its luster. And I guess 3-hour pay-per-view. But that's my thoughts. Move on to the next match on the card. Well, we're going reverse order. So this was for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. This is between Moa Joe and Jay Lethal. We didn't realize that the match didn't start for like 5-6 minutes because it was a jump start from the beginning. So when I saw who had the bell, was it who got hit? Well, Samoa Joe got hit in the head with the bell. I'm like, the referee is right there and he doesn't count him out. And we're like, oh, referee discretion. Technically, the bell didn't ring at all. But thoughts on this match with Joe's return? Who wants to go?
I guess I'll start. Or we'll let Bobby go since he didn't go the last one.
Awesome. Hey, I enjoyed the match for what it was. It was Samoa Joe's first match in like, it feels like forever, guys. Honestly, when was the last time Samoa Joe had a match? It's been a while. So
At least a month by my count.
Thank you, Joey. So at least a month. So it's been a while since we saw Joe. He came back, and I ain't gonna lie, Joe, you look a little bigger than before, but it is what it is. He's much older now. He's in his 40s. He's also doing movie roles, so I get he doesn't have time to hit the gym, do all that, but he still put on a pretty decent match out there with Jay Lethal. Nonetheless, Jay Lethal is an amazing performer. He did an amazing job out there. Not only that, we'll see Jay Lethal live next week against Ric Flair in Ric Flair's final retirement match. Now, granted, Andrade and Jeff Jarrett are going to be in the match, but that's going to be interesting to watch. But again, for this match, I thought it was a decent match. Glad to see Samoa Joe back in the ring. He looks healthy enough, so I hope to see more of Samoa Joe. And again, Jay Lethal is now the new ROH TV champion, right?
Joe.
He retained.
Joe, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, Joe. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, it was pretty much like Bob said. It's a pretty good match. Joe definitely looked a lot different than we've seen him since he's been out of it for a little while. I was hoping Bob would talk about that hair though. We mentioned that his hair was a little whack.
Hey, I mentioned his age. He's up there with it. I don't know what's going on with his hair, man. He's losing this hair, guys.
It's okay. I'm gonna lose my hair eventually too. So, no, it was a pretty good match. We all were, like Rich said, a little confused with the fact that the match didn't start when it did, because we're like, man, why the hell is that not a DQ? He's getting knocked around left and right, like outside the ring, and yeah, it was a wild sequence of events before the match had actually started. But it was a pretty good match, no complaints. I kept joking that we'd get a Ric Flair interference. That would have been hilarious, but obviously that he probably would have died if that happened. So yeah, interesting to see how Jay goes into the pay-per-view next Sunday with Rick's last match. So yeah,
I believe it's Sunday because SummerSlam's Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably all watch that together. So it'll be cool. But yeah, good match. No complaints.
All right. Well, let's head on to the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. This was with Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb. It was my favorite match of the night. I thoroughly enjoyed the ladies going at it. But let's hear some thoughts. I got Joey.
Rich, you're going to agree with me wholeheartedly on this. The crowd did not do their job during this match. I would say the first 7-8 minutes of this match were almost like you could hear a mouse step on cotton silent. That was just not something that I expected, especially with, as Bob said, Joe had been off TV for some time, but both these ladies have been in tag matches together, had some segments, got time, not on Dark, but on, Dynamite or Rampage. And yet the crowd just, I don't know, just wasn't with it. And that really upset me, especially after a little bit of flack, mostly from our Twitter and social media, about Forbidden Door not having as many women's matches. And so the next chance they get on a pay-per-view, silence for the first half to 2/3. That's what I got to say. Crowd, do better.
Definitely agree. The crowd was not into that match at all, which is really upsetting because they both have had some good feuds, and obviously their feud together has been pretty interesting to watch, as Joey mentioned. Really like Deeb. It just seems like every feud she's in, she loses. And she is a great technical wrestler. I don't know. That's the only thing that kind of irked me is that she lost. I mean, either one of them could have won that, and
She got a
call it
banger
day.
theme too, Chad. Never
Yeah,
forget.
the theme song is a banger. We're jamming out to that as she came out, when we weren't screaming at each other. Yeah. It was a submission finish, right? Yeah, she tapped out. Was hoping she'd get out of it, but yeah, it was a good match. Just really disappointed, like Joey said, and the fact that the crowd just kind of shat on that match and just didn't really give them the time of day, because it was, like Rich said, probably one of the better matches of the night. Just the lack of enthusiasm, from the people who were there, was just kind of a downer, but good match.
Yeah, I would agree, Chad. I mean, when the crowd did get into the spectacle of the match, there was a lot of favoritism towards Serena Deeb. So this is why it's unfortunate that she lost again, because it seems like every feud that she didn't lose every feud, because there is one feud that's still in the balance, and that's with Hikaru Shida.
Yes.
Technically she lost, but she didn't lose because she got revenge on Sheeta for like destroying her leg and then like taking Sheeta off of television for quite some time.
They're 1-1, right?
Yeah, I can watch them wrestle numerous times. Yeah, I think they're even, but I think that's the only one that's like setting. But every other match that she's had with Thunder Rosa lost, and then with Mercedes Martinez lost. So I would love for a push for Serena Deeb because she's dope. I think she needs a manager, just to cut promos for her. But all in all, I would definitely say that she needs a push. Go ahead, Joey.
Real quick on the manager comment, I've been saying for a little bit, ever since the BCC was founded, if there's going to be a chick member, Serena Deeb fits this bill. I get she's more of a heel now, and the BCC are more faces, but I mean, Regal adds to every match he's involved in as a commentator, and I just think Deeb fits that, tough, gritty feel and approach. Like, I could even see Moxley being like, I don't want to mess with this girl. So if she needs a manager, give her Regal. Do not give her Vicky Guerrero or Chavo or blank the assistant, whoever. Don't. That's all I got.
All right. Well, that was the only ladies match of the night. But the next match, as we go in reverse order, was the Battle of Brothers, Battle of Siblings. So for the first time ever, we had former Ring of Honor World Champion Roosh battle his brother Dragon Lee in the Battle of Brothers. This one was wild because I thought Dragon Lee had broke his neck 5,000 times for the different spots. that were conducted, I'm like, that's a lot of trust between family members. But holy hell, the way that he was landing on his head outside of the ring, I'm like, oh my gosh. But thoughts on this match, any?
Pretty solid match, no complaints for me. Like you said, couple spots where it landed on their heads, and it was like, is he gonna get up? Who is it? Was it Lee who was down for like a couple seconds? Or no, it was
Yeah, all the spots were Lee like getting destroyed.
yeah, he got destroyed basically the entire match, but he had his moments where come back. But yeah, it was it was pretty hard to watch at times. I'm not gonna lie, but it was a great match.
All right, Bob.
To add on to that match, if it wasn't for the Briscoes, because again, I'll probably say the Briscoes and FTR is probably match of the night. But if it wasn't for that match, I think this match probably would have been my match of the night. Holy shit, Dragon Lee almost died out there. Like, Rich, you and me, we looked at each other when he did that suicide dive through the ropes on the table onto Roosh. Holy shit. Brutal spot. I thought the match was fantastic. The ending was great too. Where Roosh, he fooled me. I thought he was hurt. I thought he was concussed. I'm like, oh, the ending looked a little botchy. The ending looked a little weird. Like, what's going on here? And then Roosh kicked his brother and then hit his move, and that was it. And I'm like, oh, shit. But he was playing possum. He was playing possum. Hey, man, a good old brother trick. Hey, man, I'm hurt. Psych. Got him. So I thought that was great. It was a good match. I don't know if you guys have anything else on that.
Nah, Joey, do you have something?
Bob, does that mean you've been playing possum with your cast?
Hey, brother. Hey, look. Hey.
He's gonna put it up there. You wouldn't want me right heel on your heel.
New profile picture.
Hey, brother, this ain't a work. This ain't a work. This is a shoot.
Man,
Show him the text.
Can you give the audience like a 20-second
No.
how this happened?
Yeah, I was kicking. A burglar came in. I was kicking a mud hole in his candy ass. Is what I was doing, right? Enough said.
All right.
No.
Well, you stay off in fantasy land then.
The crotch chop from hell gone wrong. Is what it actually was.
okay. All right. Well, thank you all. Roosh will be competing against John Moxley on Dynamite for the interim AEW championship. So Roosh will be having a title match for the interim championship. So moving on, we are going to the Ring of Honor Pure Championship match between Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia. So these, as far as technical wrestling is concerned, I would say these are like the two most gifted young athletes that we have. As far as like open-handed strikes, the transitions between each submission, like there was that vicious slap exchange between them, and I think there was only one rope break through
Correct.
it all.
Yep.
And it was
Correct.
pretty late in the match too.
It was for
Yeah, I think
Yuta.
it was no, it was Daniel.
Was
Daniel's
it?
the one that. Yeah,
Was
Garcia. Well, yeah, it was Daniel Garcia.
Okay, you're right. My bad.
He was the only one, and I think that was like 11 minutes into the match, and I think they had like 3 more minutes after that. But yeah, thoughts on this match? It's more of a technical style, so if you're not into technical wrestling, then this was not the match for you. But thoughts about this match?
Good match. I think Joey might agree with me on this one. I would have really liked to see Daniel win it. I feel like he's just a better fit for the title. I get what they're doing with Yuta and the BCC. I feel like they've got this champions, gimmick going for their club. So I feel like Bryan Danielson, I'm sorry, is the next one to find some sort of championship gold. What that is, I don't know. But I would have liked to see Garcia win it. I like Yuta. I don't know. I'm not totally into him yet. Still, something's not there for me personally. Something's lacking. I feel like he hasn't really found his voice still. Granted, he's got the BCC guys with him. and Regal, but I would have liked Garcia to win that. But overall, it's a good match.
Joey.
For me, I just don't. It's hard for me to understand, and maybe there isn't one, but what the end goal of having Yuta with this title is. Because you have Mox with the admittedly interim, but still world championship. Not to jump too far ahead, but Claudio won, and so that's two world championships. The pure title, I feel like, to compare it to another company, I don't even know what it would be, like a light heavyweight championship, a 15-minute championship. I don't know. And so to me, I just don't see where this is going. I feel like Yuta barely brings it out when they're on AEW television. So for me, I just don't get the purpose of it. Is it just a paperweight for him? Because if so, put this on the pre-show. I just don't see the end goal with this or the purpose yet.
I mean, fair points. And we had a conversation about this yesterday, Joey, about like, was Wheeler Yuta the guy that was supposed to be in the Blackpool Combat Club? I think, all in all, I think from the personality standpoint of it, it's Lee Moriarty. And so far with Wheeler Yuta, it just seems like he, as far as wrestling is concerned and just the technical aspect, he's got that on lock. But something is missing from Wheeler Yuta. It seems like his personality is like forced on us. And it's just like, he hasn't found his identity yet. It's like you're part of this badass club of top guys within the Blackpool Combat Club. And then it's just like, here's our brother, Wheeler Yuta. You know, it's you like buy a PlayStation 5 and then you buy a PlayStation 5 on Wish. That's not a PlayStation 5, it's a PlayStation 4.5. So that's how it feels.
Can we now call Yuta 4.5 out of 5?
I mean, if you want to, but that's how
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, that's how I feel. But Joey, go ahead. You can finish.
No, so I agree. And I think one thing too, I will just say this. He's gotten decent crowd reactions. I am not going to take that away from him. What I'm just concerned about is, my thought is, why him? I don't think he really did anything memorable with the best friends. Like, I know me and Brian go at it all the time about literally what color the sky is sometimes. But, and it's blue, by the way. But here's the thing. What did he do to earn or get into this prior to just being, oh, I'm now feuding with Moxley. I'm going to have this bloody match and kick out of everything like I had the Mario Mushroom. I just don't get what he did to earn this spot over guys like Garcia, Moriarty, even some other no-name. And the fact that it's just him and not him and Moriarty is what I feel like I have a problem with. We can move on from this because we can talk all night about how to utilize young guys, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. So the next match on the card was the 6-man tag team championship match with Dalton Castle and the Boys versus the Righteous. This match, if you have not seen a Dalton Castle match, and then the boys are twins. They're Brandon and Brent. I think they were out of OVW, if I'm not mistaken.
They've been with Dalton for quite a while, so that wouldn't surprise me, Rich.
Yeah. So thoughts on the match, if we have any.
So we had a friend there that had not seen Dalton Castle before. And I was trying my best, as with all of you, to hold our reactions for this guy because he really is something to behold. And eventually, I think by the time he got to the ring, she got it. Because before he did his little peacock pose with his cape, whatever you want to call it, she was into it. And so to me, that's the sign that an act is working. When he doesn't have to say anything and maybe 35 seconds and she gets it. And correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, Chad, since you were closer to where this friend was, but they seem to enjoy Dalton Castle, right or wrong?
I think that was a fact.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Chad, go ahead.
The best part for me, the entire match was Dalton throwing the boys out of the ring every 10 seconds. It was like a minute and a half. It was like number one, number two, number one, number two, just like literally throwing them at everybody. It was really funny. I didn't think they were gonna win the titles just because of his character, but it was a pretty good match. I was impressed. Always happy to see the boys on TV. So I think that's only twice we've seen them. I've seen them personally. So it was cool.
No, I definitely enjoyed the match. I think the moments, especially with the Righteous, because we don't want to like just forget them. They had a valet or a manager. It was Vita Von Star, but she was not announced. But she had a spot in the match where she did a springboard moonsault off of the top one of the ropes to do a spot. So I want to give her flowers as well, because I guess I was calling her Midsommar because she had like the Midsommar like head thing on there. But that's all I have to say. Great match. I'm surprised at the outcome, but I'm happy of the outcome because I can always dig Dalton Castle on the boys. Bob, go ahead.
Cool. Now, guys, explain to me, what would you guys describe Dalton Castle's gimmick? Is it more comedic? Is it more serious? Explain to the audience. It's a comedy act, right?
I think it is a perfect balance of comedy with the mindset of, oh crap, but this guy can actually go. He does legit suplexes. He's not a small guy by any means. He's all of 220, legit wrestling background. He's just flamboyant. People can say what they want, for instance, about a guy like Prince, but that guy can sing and this guy can wrestle, in my opinion. Party Peacock is his nickname, but he can go. John, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly what you were just saying, Joey. He has like that Prince look, like he is a superstar, right? And if he was in WWE, he would perfectly fit in the whole group of those superstars. He's just over the top, which is what pro wrestling should be always. It just adds more entertainment, and then you also remember who this guy at the end of the night. At the end of the night, you probably remember this guy. Bob?
Now, guys, can I not say, does Orange Cassidy not have these same? Does OC not have these same attributes?
Thank you for saying it. Thank you for not letting me say it. Thank you.
Guys, look, you guys are over here praising the shit out of this match. Oh yeah, this is a good match, fun match. Oh yeah. But if OC won this match and won the trios match, you guys would be losing y'all shit.
Chad, I need you to confirm this. Have I not said before that OC should be or can be a tag champion with the best friends in the free bird rule? Have I not said that before?
He should probably not be a singles champ.
Thank you.
That's
fact. What I've said before, Bob, since before this podcast.
Dalton's kind of up here to Joey and OC's here. I think they're like way close. I think the gap's much closer, but Orange Cassidy is probably a tad goofier.
But Chad, from my understanding, because I don't watch ROH, not from back in the day.
I don't either, really.
Now, isn't Dalton a former ROH world champion?
Correct. And what I'll say about that, Bob,
I didn't know that.
Somebody who did watch he did. He actually was the guy that I want to say he beat Cody actually for the world championship when Cody was fresh off of WWE. He actually beat Cody. What I'll say about that, Bob, I think a key difference between Dalton and OC, and this is a great conversation topic, so I appreciate you bringing it up. But I think a difference between them is really the fact that I compare this Dalton Castle to me, if we're talking comedy characters, Dalton Castle is more like a modern, less homophobic version of Goldust. We all knew and saw Goldust could go. Goldust was not a skinny, small guy. He had the flamboyance. He had the wig he'd wear and all that. He had Marlena. Dalton has the boys. Very different usage of them. I don't think of OC when I think of Dalton. I think of more a Goldust-esque or an evolved version of it. So that's just a difference between me.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll take that. Guys, and if you guys have anything else to throw in?
I like both gimmicks. I mean, I love Dalton Castle. I love Orange Cassidy. They're both ridiculous, and I love it.
No
So Saban doesn't-
Danhausen though.
How
Oh,
would
oh, Dan,
world champion or what? You would
yeah,
hate it.
Danhausen is, yeah, there's just levels of just gimmicks that you just like, what the hell? And
Danhausen
I mean,
is more comparable to OC, I think, than Dalton.
Oh, by far. Yeah, that's
All right.
there's no arguing. I just wanted to be an ass and bring it up. So
Now-
yeah,
Guys, can I mention this? What are your thoughts on Santino Morella?
he's probably in the Joey category of OC, probably not someone who'd be a singles, like a big singles guy. I think better in a group.
I'll say this. I remember there was one year.
Elimination Chamber, Bob. Is that what you're gonna bring up? Yeah.
Thank you. He had an amazing pop when it was just him and Daniel Bryan, right, Joey? It was just them.
Yes. Yes.
was-
Brian
it was
ended up
just-
winning, obviously, but yeah.
Out, but it was just them two, and the crowd was going crazy for Santino. They're like, "Oh my God, he's gonna win the World Heavyweight Championship this night."
But at that point, yeah, but at that point, Bob, it wasn't as frequent as OC getting the singles titles matches and losing every time, by the way.
Okay, yeah, you may be right. You may be right on that. But you guys can't underestimate the crowd reaction to these superstars, though. They're going apeshit. Again, granted, Dalton Castle, he also has his fans. He had a great reaction that night, and they're the champs. I just wanted to make sure what you guys' thoughts on some of these other comedic acts out there.
Some of
Yeah, I
them,
think that-
some of them are good. Some of them are like just at that level of silliness where it's like, okay, we can kind of take this person seriously, and then there's
But-
others that are just too far
Yeah.
in that
and I
sense.
think that's a conversation that we can have in a future podcast as far as
Yeah.
like who is the gimmick of all gimmicks. I think that we can do that and have that as just like a sole episode, and we won't talk about anything like wrestling, like show related. Can do that
Yep.
in the future.
Again, I just want opinion. So far, it was good. I liked it. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, everyone loved the Dalton Castle match with the boys. All right, so this brings us to the last match on the card, which was the first match on the card, which was for the Ring of Honor World Championship match with the challenger Claudio Cascanoli versus the champion Jonathan Gresham. So we were very surprised that the championship match went first, but allegedly there was a coin toss to determine who would go as the main event, according to Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman, saying that FTR and the Briscoes won that coin toss to have that at the end. I mean, obviously it was going to be at the end, but kayfabe is real, right? So this is very interesting as far as this Ring of Honor championship match, because it was like a couple weeks ago, Jonathan Gresham had joined Tully Blanchard's Enterprise. And then during the show, Prince Nana had acquired Tully Blanchard Enterprises to make up the embassy. So one, don't know what happened to Tully Blanchard. And two, when Jonathan Gresham came out as the champion, he didn't have his traditional octopus mask on. It was a different look. But let's go into the match before we go into the next segment. Thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I mean, this one's kind of hard because it does severely lead into that next segment. I know Claudio just came back. He's got that momentum. I didn't really agree with Claudio winning, considering Gresham, I think, like we mentioned, has only had one defense.
It was against Dalton Castle too.
Against Dalton Castle. So
shout out my boy Lee Moriarty. That was his other defense, but still.
Oh, so he did have two?
Correct.
Okay, so he had two. So maybe
Maybe
I'm wrong. Very short timing though. I mean, it wasn't a big dramatic run by any means. Now that you mention, with Tully originally signing with them, that definitely lacks momentum from that, kind of takes away, and then Prince Nana as well. It was very confusing. I honestly didn't even notice he didn't have his headgear on walking to the ring either. So I don't know. It was a great match. Just, I'm just curious to see where they go with everything. Yeah, that's about all I can say. I don't know. Just that's a tough. Either way could have gone. But
Yeah, Joey.
I guess like the icing on the cake or the first layer of this too to keep in mind is that I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I've heard from a couple of people that this, meaning like to be the challenger of the pay-per-view, was the original spot Claudio was supposed to have before Danielson got hurt. And that just sped up his debut to be that mystery man against Zack Sabre and then Blood and Guts. So I feel like if this truly was Claudio's first match, like it was sounding like it was intended to be, it would be a lot longer than 11 minutes and change, which I think is another layer to this Gresham issue that we'll dive into formally in a few minutes. That's all I can say really though. Bob or Jonathan, do you have anything to add before we jump into that larger issue?
No, let's go ahead. Let's jump into this larger issue because it broke today. Again, I was with family, but I was kind of keeping an eye on it. I guess Jonathan Gresham wants his release, right, guys?
That is correct. That is correct. From John Ross Sapp of Fightful.com, it has been announced that Jonathan Gresham was seeking his release from the AEW ROH contract, and apparently there was alleged profanity-laced tirade towards Tony Khan as far as the booking of the match of him losing his championship. It seemed that Gresham was not happy with a short title reign, and Claudio coming in as another ex-WWE person getting a championship on the newly rebooted Ring of Honor. That's in a nutshell. This is a developing story, so we are still getting information as it comes through. But thoughts on this, gentlemen?
Pretty wild to hear. I forget who broke the news to us in the group chat, but yeah, one of his gripes was a lack of communication between Gresham and management. And like you said, I guess another ex-WWE guy kind of getting a shot right away in a short title reign, I guess is what kind of sent him off. But I guess this is one of 3 or 4 people who've kind of had gripes with lack of direction and or communication with booking and things like that. So kind of concerning in a sense, to have a guy like Gresham already want to leave, after Tony's had the company for what, month or 2. I don't know when he bought Ring of Honor. So guess we'll just kind of see and wait for more information to come out on that, and kind of update it as it goes. But yeah, pretty wild. I guess he asked for his release before the match and not after. So just kind of a wild situation.
Yeah, Joey, go ahead.
It's something that I'm not going to say I sensed was going on, but something that I was really concerned about when he did join Tully, because he was a face at the last pay-per-view and even at the end of the OG Ring of Honor in 2021. He joins Tully's faction, which was set up to have Brian Cage as the main guy. And that faction then is randomly purchased, air quotes, by Prince Nana. The rest of them are on the pre-show, which we talked about pre-show stuff previously on this podcast. He's made a heel and loses the title all within 3 weeks. So they basically took everything that this guy had and just changed it or removed it within the span of a month. And I can understand that frustration. I'm not a huge fan of his. We've seen him, a couple of us went to a GCW show that was held in good old Hoffman Estates, and he's not a big guy. You have to be the level of a Rey Mysterio with a crossover appeal or lightning in a bottle like a Daniel Bryan to reach that level of superstar. And I've heard him talk maybe 3 times. He ain't got that promo ability. He doesn't have that charisma. So don't think you're going to be world title level, but the lack of communication is inexcusable. Chavo Guerrero complained about this. I think one of my least favorite people in wrestling history, but I think Marco Stunt complained about this as well. Big
Joey
Swole had her
Janela.
own. What's that?
Joey Janela,
Janela.
Brian Cage.
I think Big Swole had something along those issues about communication. And this is, I think, the gift and the curse of AEW. There's less people to go to and you can be more creative. But some people, I feel like, need that structure and that communication. And this is why I said in our group chat, why in the world can a Christopher Daniels or a Colt Cabana be this talent relations guy? People had to wait for hours outside Vince McMahon's door to get a word with him. There needs to be a more clear communication path, or have ROH more separate.
Just to continue on that, there seems to be just this lack of communication, and I think that's the gripe with people with Tony Khan's booking. And we said in our chat today that he's pretty much fantasy booking. Who said that he's playing with action figures in the playground?
That was Tyler.
Yeah, that was Tyler. Tyler was like, yeah, you're out there playing action figures in the playground. And I added like, yeah, he has the Sims like mother load sheet because he has unlimited money. I mean, these are people's lives, right? And yeah, I mean, Jonathan Gresham for what he is, I mean, not a strong promo, but he's a great technical wrestler. I mean, it was a great match between him and Claudio. It's just hearing that after the fact is very disheartening. And then he's even like came up with a promotion called Terminus that has a lot of like independents and then a lot of folks from AEW that come in and do these matches. It just seems like there's a level of unhappiness. And as time goes on with the inception and the creation of Ring of Honor and AEW, I'm interested to see what this documentary is going to be when all this stuff comes out, because I don't think there's any non-disclosure agreements that TK has or that we've heard of. That's hence why it's a non-disclosure agreement. But yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I hope everything's all right with Jonathan Gresham because he's off of social media. And wish him all the best. But yeah, it was a short title reign. It's a weird faction of people. Like, you got Brian Cage, Solo Leona, like Khan, Jonathan Gresham, Prince Nana. This is just random people that are in a stable.
It's like an afterthought in kind of a sense. It's like I would never imagine some of these people
like teaming together, right?
They were on the pre-show too, and this is the one faction. I guess you could count Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh with Sanjay as another, but this is one of the 2 factions that this company has had since TK has bought them. And this is how he's treating them, this lack of consistency. It's not a good sign. And I think it's a sign that TK needs to not micromanage as much with ROH.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's the story. We'll get into some more, I guess, as developing news comes through. But let's head over to our chef's kiss with Bob and Joey.
Joey, go ahead and kick us off.
All right, so big surprise. I'm going to talk about NXT again. But what happened with this, yes, Bob. So what happened with this is for the past few weeks, occasionally main roster people will go to NXT, but oftentimes too, NXT will intermingle with NXT UK, which, yes, is still alive. I don't know what their heart rate is, but it's not too great. And so when it comes to this, what had happened was the previous NXT UK tag team champions were injured. They had to relinquish it. And ironically, at the same time, the tag team of Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, who are country boys, very much a PG version of APA almost, won the belts in the UK. This upset a team called Pretty Deadly, who I would describe as a more flamboyant version of Tyler Breeze that's British. They are kind of like model-esque, very much like they say yes boy, for instance, to support each other. There'll be slow motion with the John Morrison hair flowing and everything. And so what they did to this country boy tag team was they started teasing them and dressing up like country boys themselves. And with the British accents, it was hilarious. And what they came out with this week then on NXT to build up to this match that took 3 weeks to build to through funny segments was they came out in the attire of cowboy hats, brown cowboy pants, and what I would describe as like sleeves with like cow print on them, but their whole chest was showing. It was as flamboyant as you could get, and I loved it. And they were saying ignorant phrases like roll tide, even though neither of those guys are from Alabama. Just stuff like that. It just ignorant heel stuff like that was too funny. And then you got Wade Barrett on commentary saying they put the sex in Essex, which is a town in England. Just hilarious. Old school heel stuff. They lost the match, of course. I just loved it. And so that attire and just that pushing it further, the reason for the matches, love it. Bob, yours is actually from the same promotion as last week. Or do you want to comment on mine first?
Correct. Thank you, Joey. I'm coming back with you guys with some Impact news. This week on Impact, the main event was Alex Shelley versus Chris Saban in the main event. And I thought these two put on a phenomenal match. Again, these guys are partners. Chris Saban, a former TNA world champion. Again, it was a great match with the victor being Alex Shelley, making Chris Saban tap out to the Border City stretch, being the new #1 contender to Josh Alexander's Impact World Heavyweight Champion at Impact's Emergence live August 12th here at the Cicero Stadium, right, Joey? Yeah. Cicero.
Yes. Great promo work as well, Bob, for supporting them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Look, I kind of died out back in 2015 all the way up to like maybe within like the last year with TNA/Impact. But man, they've been putting on some phenomenal work when it comes to in-ring action, when it comes to wrestling, not the sports entertainment bullshit. But when it comes to wrestling, these guys have been putting a banger week after week. So, hey, Chris Saban and Alex Shelley, get my French kiss of the week. But Joey, go ahead and tell us our combo French kiss of the week.
I just want to point out that you said French kiss and not chef's kiss. So Bob's fantasies are about Chris Saban and Alex Shelley. Nothing wrong with that. I just want to clarify that you said French kiss. So I will support you, Bob.
Party
Anyway.
barn for Bob.
Yeah, he deserved it with that time, I would say, because you said French kiss.
Look, Joey, look, I love the French, all right? Look, I just can't help myself, man. I love the French.
There's cuisine in France. One of the best restaurants are in France.
Bob, I will say I would French kiss you any day.
Hey, and I'll totally accept it. No homo here, guys. Look.
I'll do it too,
Hey,
Bob.
I kiss the homies. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, he said it, guys. He said it. But anyways, Joey, let's go ahead. Let's wrap this.
Yeah, all right. Main course.
Kiss of the week.
Okay, so one of my favorite segments to build up to this of all time that the New Day has done was a rap battle they did with the Usos during their seemingly never-ending feud. I think, Bob, do you remember who the host of that was? Was it Wale?
Wale.
Yep. And just funny stuff like that about like the Jamaican accent being Jafakin, Xavier Woods and Brad Maddox and Page's rendezvous being subtly mentioned. Funny stuff like that. I remember that segment more than I remember any of their infinity number of matches. And so when I heard that, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, for the first time, AEW was going to have a rap battle. For the first time, it made Rampage, which sometimes isn't a must watch for me. And they, I thought, killed it. Lil Scrappy, who I've not heard of before, but Lil Scrappy was the moderator.
He's OG.
Yes, Bob. Any
Of
comments on
course,
Little
Joey
Scrappy?
didn't hear. He doesn't know who Little Scrappy is. It's okay, Joey.
I know
That's
of
all right.
Little
Look.
Wayne and Little John, but how
Jesus
is
Christ.
Little
You're putting a
Scrappy?
lot of. You're putting
How
a lot
was,
of
Little-
little.
Hang on.
Little.
How
It's
was?
He did the
little.
Money in the Bank song.
Thank you. Yes.
Anyway, how
Rob.
was Little Scrappy's performance, Bob? We'll talk about him first before we talk about the actual rappers.
Dude, he did well. He wasn't bad out there. He did just as decent as Wale or as any rapper being on stage in front of AEW or WWE has. You know,
I thought he was a little more talkative than previous rap battles, like with his like, oh, like he sounded like Andrew Dice Clay up there, but that's just me.
he might have gotten a little
Oh,
and might have ad-libbed a little bit, but I thought he was fine.
Now, as far as some of these killer lines
Oh
and
yeah.
things that I learned that I didn't know before, Austin Gunn bringing up that Max Caster used to date Chris Statlander, who they both trained at Creative Pro.
what a guy.
About Max Caster being one of Bobby Lashley's sisters in that infamous segment, lest we forget.
Dude, that went over my head. I'm like, what? I
And
went
so,
back and
yeah,
I
you
saw
went back.
I saw the picture and I'm like, holy shit, that is him.
It's so him in the face too. But
Yeah.
and so just like these segments that sort of like wink and nod at the audience, but not as deliberate as like a Britt Baker handing a sandbag to Thunder Rosa. Like this, I thought was much more creative than like that, and like respected the intelligence of the audience rather than just being like sandbag, get it, haha, dad joke. So lines like that, and then Caster coming back talking about, for instance, the only reason Tony brought the ROH library was to set your two matches in it on fire, because Austin Glenn had two matches there before he was really a known guy. Just funny stuff. And overall, a good job by both performers. I actually thought Austin killed it specifically. I thought he was fantastic.
Agreed with you, Joey.
Austin can rap.
The
Austin can
John
really
Cena
rap.
wants his gimmick back line. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. And so it was just a great mix of like insider stuff, mainstream. Something that I wish that they would do more often are these little fun segments like this. Like I told Bob, our backup chef's kiss this week, if you didn't like the rap battle, was going to be the whole Swerve and Keith Lee celebration with an eventual not pie in the face, but cake in the face to ignorant Mark Sterling. Like just these segments to really break up the monotony of just wrestling. AEW needs to do more of these, in my opinion. And they knocked it out of the park with this one. Bob, anything to add for our chef's kiss?
Oh, yes. I'm going to say, who did you think won that rap battle?
I would honestly say Austin Gunn. He kind of like just like played into the character for like, I don't have a response. But his first stuff was
good.
All great. Yeah.
I agree. I know Little Scrappy, he awarded it the W to the Acclaim, but dude, the Aspos came with some heat. I thought it was a great promo. It definitely deserved our chef kiss of the week, our combo chef kiss of the week. So I know, absolutely, guys. If you guys have anything else to add or move on.
I'm just glad that you were able to experience a rap battle on national television.
I brought up New Day and the Usos, Rich.
Yes.
I know, but a rap battle, like in Atlanta. Come on, well, everybody was there. Jermaine Dupri, Kevin Gates,
West
Little Crap.
Side. Yep. It was
Everybody was there. It was Atlanta, so that's it was like. You had no choice with this rap battle. It's like all these.
It was given. It was a given.
All these rap artists were there. It was great. Yeah, sorry, Jelly, for doing that. So I guess I'm your bone to pick this week. Speaking of bone to pick, who has a bone to pick this week? I have one, but I'll reserve that for the end.
Man, I don't know. Why don't you go first? Oh, Joey, go first. You're just raising your hand.
It's not with Rich, so you're safe. Don't worry. You're still on the island. But I need to know what in the world happened to Max Dupree. I have been loving this guy since he was Eli Drake, or even Eli when he didn't have a last name, seemingly, with Drew Galloway's group in Impact. NWA, Impact Champion. This guy is as close to a total package, like a ready-made superstar as you can find. He's got a better physique than 80% of the roster, a better talker than 90% of the roster, in my opinion. And there's been rumors now that he rubbed people the wrong way, and that's why they got Sophia Cromwell, now Maxine Dupree, in with the Maximum Male Models. But he was even getting that over. And the fact that he was just removed, and if they do not make him a wrestler again, and if they just stick him in catering and nothing to do, that's a big bone to pick that I have. So right now it's just it's a little nibble, a little crumb to pick. But if they don't utilize him as a wrestler and just removed him for virtually no reason because he rubbed people the wrong way, quote unquote, which I've never heard him doing in any other company, by the way, that's a big bone to pick that I have. So free LA Knight, free Eli Drake, free Max Dupree, free Sean Ricker, his real name. I don't care. Get that man on TV. He is TV ready.
My bone to pick will be with WWE if we get another Goldberg match, if Brock Lesnar actually quits. So let's hope and pray that doesn't happen. The rest of our buddies, where the hell are you at? We got this podcast every Sunday, 7:00. We're on here at 6:30. Y'all didn't show up. Nick, Brian. There's a couple people who said they wouldn't be on, but you two motherfuckers disappointed.
I was under the impression that we were doing this every other week, to be fair, until like yesterday.
No, we never said it was going to be a bi-weekly thing. I mean, we just had a pay-per-view that we wanted to review. So that's opportunity right there. The day after pay-per-view, got to post our thoughts on it on that. And nobody reads the group chat anyways, including you, Mr. Joey, and Bob.
Let's edit this out. All right. Not only that, I was with family. All right, Chad. Family.
Bullshit. Fuck your birthday. Happy birthday to Bob tomorrow, by the way, everybody. Let's
Happy
get some
birthday,
fucking
Bob.
confetti on the
This live.
stream or on the recording. John will do his post.
You
editing.
guys heard this live. No,
Happy birthday
record
to
myself.
you.
y'all said fuck my birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
I'm
Happy birthday, dear Roberto. Happy birthday to you. I'd strip for you, but I get banned on Twitch, so I won't do that.
We love you, man.
Love you, buddy. I got to give you some shit.
My
Rich,
bone
go
to
with
pick
your
is-
bone to pick. Yep.
bone to pick. It has nothing to do with wrestling. It has everything to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They have announced Phase 5. We already knew stuff was happening. Put on this big old soiree at the San Diego comic convention. A lot of AEW talent was there. But I digress. Like, we know that these shows, these movies are going to come out. Like, I'm happy that Daredevil's coming out. I'm happy that we're getting Spider-Man freshman year. The one bone to pick, if you do not make Blade rated R, I'm calling that shit butter knife. You better make it rated R. That's my bone to pick.
If they're doing Deadpool rated R, they've got to do Blade rated R. Especially with the last ones. I will add to your bone to pick, though, with Marvel is the fact that we've got to wait till like 2025 to see a fucking Fantastic Four movie. And they haven't announced anything about the X-Men yet. That pisses me off, too, because there's so much they could do now. They have the rights to 99% of the characters, yet they're not doing things the way I want them to. I want them to do shit comic accurate. I know like the MCU is not based on all the comics, like the exact stories, and they've got to change stuff for storylines and stuff, but they are missing a lot of potential right now, you know, with the multiverse, especially. You know, they could bring back all the old X-Men or they could recast it. It doesn't fucking mean anything, but they literally could do an Avengers versus X-Men movie or Fantastic Four or anything. Like, just give us
The
something
possibilities
exciting.
are endless.
The multiverse
go-
is endless, man. Like, come
know.
on, like, just capitalize on it now. Like,
Do the
know-
move.
Do the move. Thank you. Do the right fucking move is what they should be doing. I get it. They want to plan all this stuff out in advance, and you know, there's ultimately a bigger thing they're leading to, which is Secret Wars. But wow, I was really surprised on some of the things they announced and like just how far away they are. Which, granted, we're 2022. I guess 3 years of planned movies isn't anything out of whack with
That's the
them.
ordinary. Yeah. So-
But yeah,
Yeah.
Can I
Joey.
can I ask you one thing, Rich?
Yeah.
have we
Go ahead,
got
man.
have we gotten any word from our favorite man from Joliet since our recent call outs? So no word from Mr. Joliet, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Anything to say to him since he's being silent still?
Well, this is not Jay and Silent Bob, so you have a chance to meet our demands for more women's wrestling. You owe JT some popcorn. So Joliet Juice, Juicy J, even though that's a rapper, you owe us an apology.
what now, Mr. Joliet? You fucking mark.
Be more like
the
Kip,
man.
less like Juice. That's what I'll say.
Kip Sabian for Prez.
Your significant other is a better wrestler than you.
Preach.
Oof. Oof.
She is awesome, and I'm just saying that she should have won the title against Thunder Rosa. And then you thumbs down on more women's wrestling when your significant other put on a banger of a match. You can't sell. You do garbage matches. You're trash, bro. That's all I have to say.
Chad, do we have a promo battle scheduled this week?
We didn't officially schedule one. I don't know. Every time we bring this up, I feel like it just never happens. We've got plenty of ideas for promo battles. We're thinking about introducing some characters that we do not own the properties to in this edition. Rich had the idea of Elmo versus Rocco. I think that would be pretty wild to do. I'd love to hear Rich squeal on camera.
It's not me. It's Elmo, man. It's definitely not me.
Or Elmo.
Well, the parody of Elmo. Let's preference that because we do not own the rights to these characters. So Sesame Street, please do not sue us because we don't have any money. And we do this for fun. But yeah, Elmo versus Stitch, Elmo versus Gollum. I feel like Elmo's gonna win the promo battle.
SpongeBob, Patrick.
Yeah, SpongeBob and Patrick. That'd be a good one. So we got some heat. So in the future, not tonight though. Not tonight.
Definitely not ready for that. No.
Not tonight. No.
I need a lot more alcohol in me to do one of those personally.
Final words, gentlemen, then?
So since Ric Flair's last match is on Sunday, I think folks were trying to do a Monday stream. Is that what we want to do? I know that we're still live on Twitch, but we want to let the audience know.
I think that's a schedule. I think we're probably hanging out here again for the pay-per-view. Still throwing the idea
I'm
out
not.
of like a
I am not. I will be with
man.
I will be with my significant other.
That's more
'cause I love
important.
her
That's more
and
important.
I love her. Love you. Mwah.
I'm still trying to throw out the Barstool idea of possibly doing a live stream or live following of a pay-per-view. If we get enough guys, we've got 2 couches here, so we could live stream us getting our drink on and screaming at each other. That'd probably be pretty entertaining, and we'd probably get banned off Twitch for that. But yeah, no, we'll probably do it on Monday. Kind of recap that. SummerSlam is Saturday as well. And obviously the rest of the shows this week with Raw tomorrow, Dynamite on Wednesday, NXT on Tuesday, and whatever else is on TV. So it could be a big show for us on Monday. So we'll look out for that next week.
To add on, Chad, it's gonna be a very busy week for us, guys. If you guys really think about it, we got again, not many of you guys watch Raw, but we got Raw tomorrow, NXT on Tuesday. I lied. Wednesday Dynamite, Thursday Impact for me, Friday SmackDown, and then Saturday SummerSlam. And then
Well, you forgot Rampage on Friday.
Yeah, bro, you gonna forget Rampage like that?
All right, got Rampage.
Wow.
Shit.
I'm just kidding, bro.
Watch Rampage. You guys don't even watch Rampage.
IWA Mid-South. We got what else, boys? What other random
There's
indies
a
we saw out
lot
there?
of wrestling.
It's
There's
gonna-
a lot.
Busy week.
Freelance pro wrestling.
There we go. But I'm excited, guys. We got a lot of wrestling to cover. Ric Flair's final match. We'll see if that's true. But yeah, not only that card is it's a decent card. Not Conrad Thompson did a decent job calling out some of these other promotions and getting everybody together. It's a decent card. So we're locked and loaded for a busy week next week, guys.
Oh yeah, let's see the card here real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. If you got it, pull it up. It's like 9 matches, I believe, 8 or 9. Quite a few matches.
Rock and Roll Express versus Brian Pillman Jr. and Brock Anderson. The Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards against the Motor City Machine Guns.
That's gonna be a hell of a match right there.
Ray Phoenix and Taurus against Laredo Kid and Bandito. That'd be a fun one to watch.
Yep.
Josh Alexander versus Jacob Fatu. Hopefully I said that right. I probably said it wrong. But Rachel Ellering, Jordan.
Hate to cut you off, but is that that Fatu match? Is that for the Impact title? Or is that just non?
Yes,
world title match? It is.
Shit.
We've got the Rachel Ellering, Jordan Grace, and Deanna Perrazzo. It doesn't say it's a title match.
No.
But that'd be a pretty good women's match. Killer Cross versus Harry Smith.
Cool.
Clark Connors versus Ren Narita. And we've got the Von Erichs versus the Briscoes. And then obviously the main event is Flair and who's he teaming up with?
Andrade.
His son-in-law. His son-in-law.
Versus
his fourth son-in-law, but yes, son-in-law.
Versus Double J.
Okay, you gotta bring up past whatever. But yeah, son-in-law.
Versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. So that should be pretty interesting. I'm definitely glad they made that a tag match and not a singles match, because that would not be a very long match. Let's just put it that way.
He's still the 60-minute man, baby.
Oh God, if that match goes like super long, I don't know.
I'm gonna say 8 minutes is max.
I hope
15.
It'll probably go more because
double digits for sure.
59 minutes.
Jesus Christ. I'd say 15 to 20 tops. I think Joey's right. Double digits.
Nothing more than that. And if it is, it should not. They should not do that.
Do we still call it a hot tag if Ric Flair gets it, or is it just a room temperature tag at this point?
Oh my gosh, leave the man alone.
Well, he's got to make contact in order for it to be a tag. So.
All right, we're stressing Rich out. I'm sorry.
This man is 73 years old. Yeah, so that pay-per-view, and enjoy it. I'll just be an MC for Monday. Yeah.
Cool, guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead and close the show then, right?
Yes, sir. Appreciate everybody for watching. We had a couple people on here. Appreciate y'all. Do some editing and probably get this out towards do some editing, get this thing out midweek. So thanks for watching. This is Do the Move, episode 4. My name's Chad. I got Rich, like the money. We got Mr. Bob, J-Dog, Joey, and Mr. John. Thanks for watching. We will catch you guys in a little over a week.
And
Do the move.
Later, y'all.